Well, Annalie is the puppeteer, and she's a girl who's never been close to her father. Her father is a corporate billionaire who runs some kind of shady corporation, and she's come to school to learn and to break free of her family and to do something to understand people better. She watched her parents fight and get divorced, but get married, and why were they married in the first place, and the psychology of her parents constantly, battling for territory in her heart. And she just has come to school to be a psych major, to understand what it is that makes people tick. And so she gets given the ability to literally jump into people's minds and explore their memories and kind of alter their traumatic events and help them to therapeutically work through the problems that they have. And it's an effective power, because whenever they get into reconnaissance or whenever they have to overcome a bad guy, she can pop into their brain and their body becomes limp, and she has complete control over their physicality, and she has access to their memories and information. The problem is that when she does that, her own body is completely vulnerable, so the rest of the teammate has to kind of protect her so that she's not hurt. Paula is the seductress, and this is a girl who's come to school with low self-esteem, and she's an overweight girl who's never thought she was pretty. And she hasn't had much of a social life, and she's very shy and hasn't ventured out to become friends with anybody because she really has so little appreciation for her greater qualities. It's all wrapped up in her image. And she gets given the ability to beguile people, to make them fall in love with her, to seduce them. And in the first book, I love what Hugh did with it, because he didn't take it to a typical place. He really explored the pathology of a girl who has lived like this and what she would do, the mistakes that she would make. He just makes her so human and really frail and vulnerable. And through the experience of misusing her power, she gains strength and confidence in herself by her friends coming together for her. She realizes that she herself is valuable, and it doesn't all need to be about appearance. And it's not about her changing, it's about her accepting herself and outwardly projecting that to other people. One of our fun characters is this character, the Intoxicator, is a kid who, straight A student, came to school with all the promise in the world, and he tries beer for the first night, for the first time ever on the night of the event, and as a result gets the power to project his intoxication to other people through burping at them. So anything that he drinks, anything that he smokes, anything that he imbibes, he can project that intoxication. But as a result, he's failing in school because he's constantly got to be drunk or stoned or something to, for the missions that they have to go on. We also have Norin, who is the guy who knows everything about comic books and, superhero teams and superhero characters and the rise of the good guys and the bad guys and how the two are always kind of born side by side. And he knows all of the mythology and the rules. And he's the only one who doesn't get any superpowers. He literally goes to get a pizza when the event is happening. He's like, anybody want a pizza? No one pays attention to him, he splits. But he takes on the role of the leader, kind of the Professor X. He is the one who informs everybody what their roles are and what they'll have to do and what perils await them, and helps to interpret the things around them and kind of teaches them to protect their identities and to take the responsibility seriously, all the while wishing that he had some powers of his own. But in a way, that forces him to become kind of a Batman. He's just a man with the will who develops his own skill and technology to be able to fight alongside actual superheroes. And then we've got the drama twins, Brady and Renee, who their powers only work in tandem. They actually got their powers while they were having sex, and they are a couple that has been together since they were kids and constantly fighting and breaking up and making up, and really don't have the strength and courage to go it on their own. They really need one another psychologically, and part of what we explore in the second book is just how dangerous a relationship like that can be, that kind of codependence without a real foundation of love and respect and appreciation and tolerance for one another. But their powers are a kinetic kind of power. They can push and pull individually, but when they are together, they can control objects. They can lift and levitate things. They can move them and bring them to them or force them away at great velocities. And then Liam, the Quaker, who is a traditional Amish boy who's gone off on his exploration in the world as they do to see what's out there. Amish people, when they're teenagers, they have the opportunity to kind of go away for a year and explore the world outside so that they can return to that way of life willingly, peaceably, and lovingly, like, you know, I've seen what's out there and this is the way I want to live. So he's in college for the first time and exploring all these things he never knew existed. He's fascinated by light switches and, you know, all the modern conventions, but even more so fascinated by the psychology of the average American teenager. He does not know that type of living, you know, where kids are not working together, where kids aren't raised with a strong sense of self and a strong sense of God. He doesn't really understand, but he's, you know, open-hearted and sympathetic and just loving in the way that he deals with people, but so conflicted because his powers cause damage and inflict harm on people, and that is so categorically in opposition to what he believes and feels that he has to reconcile, he has to justify what it is that he's doing, and only through realizing that the people he's dealing with are absolutely evil and malevolent, and to not stop them would be a greater affront. Does he gain comfort in using his powers. And then we got Charles, who is the green thumb. This is a guy who he's a vegetarian and loves plants and doesn't want to eat any animals. And he gets given the ability to hear what plants are saying, which is horrible for a vegetarian because it keeps him without anything he can't eat. Can't eat plants, can't eat meat. You know, it's strictly like tofu and potato chips, and even those have corn oil. And you know, he's just, his psychology is breaking down because he can't. This power is something so individual. No one else can hear what he hears. So he feels like he's going crazy all the time. And I love in the second book the way that Hugh really defines his character. There's secrets that he has. There's things that he's going through that he's trying to deal with just to understand exactly who he is and how he's going to go about living. And it's great. It's really good in the second series. Who am I forgetting? Oh, there's a lot of like fun side characters too. There's like the Post-it kid who's super sticky. He needs to wear a protective suit all the time because even his eyeballs things stick to him, and it's horrible. It's good in battle because he can stick two people together or really become a nuisance. We've got this other character, Long Dong, who a kid who was not so greatly endowed and wished to be so, and now he's got like a 15-foot indestructible penis. And in the second series, Hugh introduces this great character, Amy, who's somewhat of a love interest for Norrin, and she's the perfect girl for him inexplicably. She's a beautiful girl who loves comics and all the things that he loves, and really, you know, is shy and kind of dorky herself, but appreciates him, and they just fall head over heels. And the evolution of that relationship and everything that it is in the second book is a really great through line for the story. What did I skip? I skipped the beaver. So the school mascot, the beaver, is given sentient, you know, speaking ability. Now he can talk and communicate, and he's brilliant beyond the comprehension of any of these kids. And he becomes sort of an informal supervisor. He works side by side with Norrin as a team leader to help plan things, to help devise battle plans, and he builds Norrin a utility belt and helps him to design and construct weaponry. He's just a funny character because he's so much smarter than everyone else and so frustrated by their inability to just be reasonable and do things in an appropriate way.